Hey there, and welcome back for another deep dive.
It's great to be back.
Today, we're going to explore this book that really caught my eye. It's called Angel's Healing Journey, and it's written by E.J. Gold.
Right.
Now, this book had a really interesting premise. It's like a modern take on the ancient Egyptian Book of the Dead, but infused with Judeo-Christian angel lore
Yeah.
and the Tibetan Buddhist concept of the Bardo.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is a lot.
I think you'll find it intriguing, though. So what makes this book so unique?
I think it's that it blends all of these different spiritual traditions.
Oh, yeah.
And what I find really interesting is how the author combines that spirituality with practical tools and guidance for the reader.
Okay, so we're talking about a guidebook for what happens after death.
Mm-hmm.
But with angels as your escorts, I mean, that's not your typical Sunday school lesson.
No, not at all.
This book dives into the Bardo, right? Which is that transitional state Buddhists talk about. And it gets really interesting when Gold starts weaving in angels as the guides through this in-between zone.
Exactly. And it's interesting because he's drawing upon those traditional roles that angels play in different belief systems as messengers, as intermediaries between the human and the divine.
Yeah.
He takes all of those concepts and crafts, a framework for healing that could really apply to both this life and the next.
I'm already hooked.
Good.
And, the book's foreword itself starts with a captivating fable that just pulls you right in.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a king who is totally obsessed with clothes, always wants the finest, most fashionable outfits and everything like that.
Sounds a little familiar.
Sounds a little frivolous, I guess.
Yeah.
Until you start to realize what Gold is really trying to get at here.
It's a brilliant analogy. I think the king, with his preoccupation with all of the appearances, really represents a deeper absolute truth that we tend to overlook.
Right.
And then the clothes, they symbolize the phenomenal world, the world of appearances and all the distractions that we tend to get caught up in.
Yeah.
And then all the king's subjects, they're afraid to admit that he's naked. Well, that's kind of like us, isn't it?
I think so.
I mean, we shy away from confronting those uncomfortable truths. We'd rather just focus on the surface.
There's a child in the story, right, who's not yet conditioned by societal expectations, blurts out that the king is indeed naked.
Yes,
This is where the analogy, I think it's really powerful.
I agree.
The tailor in the story, who represents those who profit from illusion, he quickly spins this whole situation and convinces everyone to see these magnificent, ever-changing clothes that only the wise can perceive. It makes you think, are we constantly being tricked into seeing what we're told to see rather than what's actually there?
It's a great point. And what Gold is suggesting is that we're actually conditioned to accept these illusions as reality. And that connects directly to the core theme of the book, which is that the Bardo is this journey to see beyond those illusions, beyond the clothes of the material world.
Right.
Think about it. Are we so caught up in the distractions and superficialities of life that we're missing a deeper, more profound reality?
Okay, so let's get into the specifics of this Bardo journey.
Sure.
Gold presents this journey as a 49-day voyage, and it's divided into 3 stages.
Right.
First, you have the clear light stage, where you have the potential for immediate liberation.
Mm-mm.
I'll admit I'm a little fuzzy on what clear light actually means, though.
Well, it's a concept that you see across various mystical traditions, and it's often described as this pure, radiant energy.
Okay.
Like a sudden glimpse of ultimate reality. Think of it as like a flash of pure awareness, unclouded by thought or emotion.
Okay.
Some people believe upon death, if you're prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
You can merge with this clear light, and you can achieve liberation from this cycle of birth and death.
Whoa, that's pretty intense.
It is.
So what if we don't merge with the clear light right away? What happens then?
Well, then you move on to stage 2,
Okay.
the halls of the Bardo.
Okay. This is where things get really interesting.
Yes, they do.
So imagine you have to navigate a series of 7 distinct halls, and each hall presents a different set of challenges and opportunities for growth.
Okay, 7 halls.
7.
I'm already worried about information overload. Okay, well, let's just, without listing all 7, try and get a sense of what these halls are about. What kind of challenges are we talking about?
Okay.
So picture yourself walking through a hall where the remnants of all your earthly desires, all those things that you craved and clung to in life, they're magnified and intensified.
Okay.
That's the essence of the first hall, where you confront the pull of those attachments. Or picture yourself in a hall where your deepest fears, anxieties, and sorrows are amplified.
Oh, no.
Like a funhouse mirror reflecting your darkest emotions.
That's the second hall.
Yes, the second hall. And it forces you to face those emotions head on.
What is the point of facing all of these challenges in the Bardo?
It's not about punishment.
Okay.
It's about purification. Think back to the King's New Clothes fable.
Uh-huh.
In the first hall, you're starting to shed those illusory garments, those
Alright.
attachments that have masked your true self.
I can see how that would be helpful.
Yeah.
And the third stage of the Bardo, that's all about rebirth, right?
Right.
So we've journeyed through all these challenging halls, and now we get to pick out a new life.
You've got it, but it's not as simple as choosing from a cosmic menu.
Right.
Gold describes it as a process of recognizing your karmic patterns. Basically, understanding how your actions in past lives have shaped your present, and then you choose a rebirth path that's aligned with your spiritual growth.
So karma, huh?
Yes.
That's one of those concepts that has always intrigued me, but also seemed a little mystical.
Okay.
Can you give me like a more down-to-earth explanation of what karma means in this context?
Think of it this way. Every action you take creates a ripple effect.
Okay.
Kindness creates positive ripples. Negativity creates negative ones.
Mm-hmm.
Those ripples, good or bad, they shape your experiences both in this life and potentially in future ones.
Okay.
The idea is that you're not just passively receiving karma, you're actively shaping it with every single choice that you make.
So it's like we're weaving our own destinies thread by thread with every thought, word, and action.
That's the idea.
Whoa, that's powerful. And it makes this whole Bardo journey even more intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one more thing I'm just dying to ask about the angels.
Of course.
How do they fit into all of this?
Well, the angels are a key part of Gold's approach to the Bardo. He sees them as guides and healers who can help us navigate those challenges of this transition.
So they're like our cosmic travel agents, helping us book the right flights and hotels for our soul's journey.
That's a funny way to look at it, but on a more serious note, Gold presents a concept called the angelic telephone directory.
Okay.
It's essentially a list that connects specific ailments or challenges with the corresponding angelic healer you can call upon for support.
Wait, a telephone directory for angels?
Yeah.
Now that's something I've got to hear more about.
We'll get into it.
So let's say I'm struggling with anxiety in this life. Is there like a specific angel I can call on for help, like a spiritual 911?
Well, according to Gold's directory, the angel Ariel is associated with healing anxiety and emotional distress.
Yeah.
But it's not just about calling on angels for help with specific problems. It's also about understanding the role that they play in the grand scheme of things.
Okay, so we're talking about angels as guides, healers, messenger.
Mm-hmm.
Basically a cosmic support system.
Exactly.
Mm.
Gold emphasizes that angels aren't just ethereal beings floating around on clouds.
Yeah.
They're active forces that can help us tap into a deeper level of healing and understanding, both in this life and in the Bardo.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. This is way more than just a what happens after you die book.
Right.
It's about understanding our present struggles through a different lens, recognizing the power of our choices, and even potentially finding support from the angelic realm.
You're getting it, and we've only just scratched the surface.
I can't wait to dive in.
Me neither.
There's so much more to explore in Angel's healing journey. So why don't we dive deeper into those 7 halls of the Bardo and see what other insights we can uncover?
Let's do it.
Lead the way. I'm ready to explore. Let's start with the first hall and see what challenges await us there.
Okay.
I'm a little nervous, I'll admit it.
Me too. But mostly excited to see where this journey takes us.
Okay, so let's step into the first hall of the Bardo. This is where you confront those remnants of your earthly attachments and desires.
Okay.
So imagine all those things you craved, clung to, or just couldn't let go of in life. They're swirling around you now, magnified and intensified.
So it's like a cosmic garage sale of all my old baggage?
Kind of.
I'm not sure I'm ready to rummage through that just yet.
Well.
But seriously, what's the purpose of facing all that stuff again?
Right.
Isn't death supposed to be a clean break from all of our earthly struggles?
Well, it's not about punishment, it's about purification. You know, think back to the King's New Clothes fable.
Right.
In the first hall, you're starting to shed those illusory garments, those attachments that masked your true self.
Okay. I can see how that would be helpful.
Yeah.
But how exactly do we navigate this hall of amplified desires? Do the angels just hand us a cosmic chill pill and say, get over it?
Not quite. Each hall has its own set of challenges and guidance.
Gold describes these really vivid chambers within each hall, and each chamber is associated with a specific angel who can help you navigate the challenges.
Okay.
For example, the 7th chamber of the first hall is depicted as a place where cravings and compulsions are especially strong.
Oh, wow.
The angel Hadriel acts as a guide in this chamber, and can help you recognize and move past these compulsive patterns.
Hadriel, the angel of breaking bad habits.
You got it.
Sign me up!
But honestly, this whole concept of angels guiding us through specific chambers sounds a bit elaborate to me.
Yeah,
I mean, is it meant to be taken literally, or is it more symbolic?
that's a great question.
It is?
I think it's open to interpretation, you know?
Yeah.
Some people might find it helpful to visualize these chambers and angels literally, while others might see them as symbolic representations of our inner states and psychological processes.
Right.
I think the important thing is to find what resonates with you and use those images to help you understand the deeper meaning of this whole Bardo journey. Okay, so we've confronted our desires in the first hall.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next? Do things get a little less intense in the other halls?
Not necessarily. Each hall presents its own unique set of challenges.
Oh, boy.
The second hall, for example, is all about experiencing these amplified emotions.
Oh, okay.
So imagine your deepest fears, anxieties, sorrows magnified 100-fold.
Oh, no.
It's a place where you have to confront the full spectrum of your emotional landscape.
Mm.
You know, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Oh, that sounds terrifying. I can barely handle my emotions on a good day,
I know.
let alone when they're amplified 100-fold.
Right.
Is there any escape from this emotional roller coaster?
Well, there's no escaping the experience, but there is guidance.
Okay.
Gold suggests specific meditations and visualizations to help you navigate the intensity of these emotions.
Okay.
You have to remember the Bardo is a realm of heightened awareness,
Okay.
and that includes heightened emotional awareness. It's a chance to really understand the nature of your emotions and learn to move through them with greater skill and compassion.
So it's not about suppressing or denying our emotions,
Right.
but about facing them head on, even the scary ones.
Exactly, and that's actually a valuable lesson we can apply to our lives right now.
Right.
I mean, think about how often we try to avoid or distract ourselves from those difficult emotions.
Yeah.
In the Bardo, there's no hiding.
Right.
It's an opportunity to develop that emotional resilience and learn to ride those waves of our feelings without being swept away by them.
That's a powerful insight. It's like the Bardo is this training ground for mastering our emotions,
Mhm.
both for this life and the next.
I agree.
Okay, so we've tackled desires and emotions. What's waiting for us in the third hall?
The third hall is all about facing those anxieties and apprehensions about the Bardo journey itself.
Okay.
It's like that feeling of being lost in an unfamiliar territory,
Yeah.
unsure of where to go or what to do next.
I can definitely relate to that. I get anxious just thinking about planning a vacation,
Right.
let alone navigating the afterlife.
Exactly.
So what kind of anxieties might we encounter in this hall?
It could be anything from fear of the unknown to worries about what's happening to the loved ones you've left behind.
Mm-hmm.
It might even be anxiety about the process of rebirth itself.
Okay, that makes sense. How do we deal with those anxieties in the Bardo? Is there like a cosmic therapist on call?
Well, the guidance in this hall focuses on cultivating trust and surrender.
Yeah.
You have to remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Okay.
You have the support of the angels and the wisdom of your own soul to guide you. It's about letting go of the need to control everything and trusting that you're exactly where you need to be.
So instead of freaking out, I
Right.
need to lean into the experience, trust the process, and maybe ask the angels for a little extra support.
Exactly. And this whole idea of trusting the process of surrendering to what is another valuable lesson we can carry into our everyday lives.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how often we resist change or try to force things to go our way.
Mm-hmm.
What if we could learn to surrender to the flow of life, trusting that even in uncertainty, there's a greater wisdom unfolding?
That's a beautiful thought.
It is.
But I admit it's easier said than done.
It is.
Okay, 3 halls down, 4 to go. What's up next in the 4th hall?
Well, this is where things get really interesting and potentially a little uncomfortable. The 4th hall is all about confronting the significance of your past actions and their karmic consequences.
So it's like Judgment Day, but without the stern-faced deity and the Book of Sins.
Not exactly. It's not about being judged or punished. It's about understanding the impact of your choices.
Okay.
Imagine reviewing your life not just from your own perspective, but also from the perspective of all those you interacted with.
Okay.
It's a chance to see how your actions, both positive and negative, have rippled through the lives of others.
That sounds intense.
It can be.
I'm not sure I'm ready to watch the director's cut of my life's blooper reel, but I can see how it would be valuable.
Yeah.
Is there any way to prepare for this kind of karmic review?
Well, the best way to prepare is to live with awareness and intention in this life.
Oh.
When you make choices aligned with kindness, compassion, integrity, you're creating positive karma that will benefit you in the Bardo and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about being perfect. It's about striving to live in a way that minimizes harm and maximizes good.
So it's like planting seeds of kindness and compassion now that will blossom into beautiful flowers in the Bardo.
Exactly. And those flowers won't just benefit you, they'll also benefit those around you, both in this life and in future ones.
Okay, I'm starting to see how the Bardo isn't just some abstract concept.
Right.
It's actually deeply connected to how we live our lives right now. It's a reminder that our choices matter not just for ourselves, but for this entire web of life.
You're getting it, and that's one of the most powerful things about Angel's healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
It bridges that gap between the spiritual and the practical, showing us how our inner work can have a tangible impact on our outer world.
Okay, so we've explored the first 4 halls, each with its own unique challenges and opportunities for growth.
Yes.
So what awaits us in the remaining 3?
Well, in the 5th hall, you navigate sensations and bodily experiences without a physical form.
Wow.
It's a fascinating concept.
Hmm.
Exploring how we experience the world beyond the confines of our physical bodies.
Hmm.
The 6th hall involves encountering these manifestations of your own mind,
Okay.
which can be both illuminating and disorienting. And finally, the 7th hall involves dealing with those habitual patterns of behavior, those ingrained tendencies that can keep you stuck in those repetitive cycles.
Wow, that's a lot to process. It sounds like the Bardo is less about floating on clouds and more about confronting these deepest layers of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Our habits, our patterns, even our very essence.
Exactly. It's a profound journey of self-discovery and transformation.
Wow.
And it's not just about what happens after we die.
Right.
It's about understanding the nature of reality itself
Mm.
and our place within the grand scheme of things.
It's making me rethink my entire concept of life and death.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm ready to dive into the 5th hall and see what it's like to experience the world without a body. Let's see what Gold has to say about that. Okay, so we're venturing into the 5th hall of the Bardo, and this one has me particularly intrigued.
oh yeah.
It's about navigating sensations and bodily experiences, but without a physical body.
Right.
I mean, it's mind-boggling to even think about that. How do we even begin to grasp that concept?
Well, it's definitely a shift in perspective.
Mm.
Gold suggests that even though we've shed our physical form, those subtle energetic imprints can kind of linger.
Okay.
They can create sensations that we might interpret as physical, even though there's no body to perceive
So
them.
it's not a complete reset, like hitting the delete button on all our bodily experiences. We're still carrying some of that baggage,
It seems
those ingrained sensations with us.
Yeah, Gold's descriptions of the 5th hall highlight how our habitual patterns, our emotional tendencies, even our self-image, can continue to influence our experiences in the Bardo.
Okay.
It's like those patterns are etched into our energetic being.
So it's not just about confronting our desires and emotions in the Bardo. It's also about dealing with the residue of our physical experiences even after we've left our bodies behind.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder, what can we do in this life to prepare for that transition?
Well, that's a key takeaway from this hall.
Yeah.
It emphasizes the importance of addressing any unresolved issues and really cultivating positive qualities while we're still in our physical bodies.
Okay.
The healthier our state of being in this life, the smoother our transition into the Bardo is likely to be.
So if we're carrying tension in our shoulders now, we might still feel that tension in the Bardo, even without physical shoulders.
It's an interesting concept. Imagine those aches and pains, those areas where we hold stress as energetic patterns that could follow us into the Bardo.
Yeah.
It makes a strong case for taking care of ourselves, both physically and emotionally, not just for a healthy life, but for a smoother transition into the afterlife.
Okay, so we're really seeing how the Bardo isn't some far-off abstract realm.
Right.
It's deeply connected to how we live our lives right now.
Okay.
But I'm still curious about the angels. Do they play a role in the 5th hall?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Each hall has specific angels associated with it, and they offer guidance and support tailored to the challenges of that particular stage.
Okay.
In the 5th hall, the angel Gabriel is a prominent guide, and he's known for his role as a messenger and a facilitator of communication between realms.
Gabriel, the angel of communication. And that makes sense, given that we're dealing with the subtleties of energetic perception in this hall.
Yeah.
I'm still struggling to wrap my head around this idea of experiencing sensations without a body.
I know, it's challenging.
It's like trying to imagine a color you've never seen before.
Right. It's definitely a challenge to our usual way of thinking. Gold uses some pretty wild imagery to describe these sensations.
Yeah.
He talks about feeling like he's being operated like a puppet on a stage, hearing hollow sounds of mocking laughter.
Wow.
It suggests a sense of disorientation and vulnerability, as if our usual sense of self is being stripped away.
Yeah, it sounds intense and a little unsettling, to be honest.
A little bit.
But I guess that's part of the transformative power of the Bardo. right? It's
Yeah.
about confronting our deepest fears and attachments, shedding those layers of conditioning, and ultimately realizing our true nature.
The Bardo isn't about escaping reality or seeking comfort. It's about confronting the truth of our being
Hmm.
in all of its complexity and beauty, and it's not a passive process.
Right.
Gold emphasizes that we have a role to play, choices to make, even in the Bardo.
Okay, so we're not just along for the ride. We have agency even after death.
Exactly.
That's empowering. What kind of choices might we face in the Bardo, especially in this fifth hall where we're navigating a whole new way of perceiving reality?
Well, Gold suggests that even subtle intentions and thoughts can have a powerful impact in the Bardo.
Okay.
He encourages us to cultivate positive qualities like compassion, patience, gratitude, not just for a happy life, but for a smoother journey through the Bardo.
Right.
These qualities act like beacons of light, guiding us towards a more peaceful and liberating experience.
So it's like packing our spiritual suitcases with the essentials for the Bardo journey.
Exactly.
Kindness, compassion, patience, and maybe a few extra doses of courage for those really intense moments.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's never too early to start packing the choices we make in this life, the qualities we cultivate, the intentions we set. They all have this ripple effect that extends far beyond our physical
I
existence.
agree.
This is making me rethink my whole concept of life and death. It's not just about what happens after we die. It's about how we live our lives right now, knowing that every thought, word, and action is shaping not only our present reality, but our future experiences both in this life and beyond.
You're getting it. And that's the beauty of Angel's healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
It offers a profound perspective on life, death, and the interconnectedness of all things. It challenges us to live with greater awareness and intention, knowing that we're not just physical beings having a spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a human experience.
Wow, that's a powerful statement. It's like we're all on this grand adventure, and this life is just one chapter in a much larger story. Okay, so we've navigated the first hall of attachments, the second hall of amplified emotions, the third hall of anxieties, the fourth hall of karmic review, and now the fifth hall of bodily sensations without a body. Two more halls to go. What's up next in the sixth hall?
The sixth hall is all about encountering manifestations of your own mind.
Okay.
It's a place where your thoughts, memories, and beliefs take on a life of their own,
Hmm.
creating a landscape that's both fascinating and potentially disorienting.
So it's like stepping into a world made of our own thoughts.
It is.
That sounds both amazing and terrifying. What kind of manifestations might we encounter in this hall?
What could be anything from past memories that replay like vivid dreams to projections of your deepest fears and insecurities.
Oh, wow.
It might even be encounters with archetypal figures or symbolic representations of different aspects of yourself.
So it's like a cosmic funhouse mirror reflecting all the different facets of our being.
Yeah.
The light and the shadow, the beautiful and the grotesque.
You got it. And the challenge in this hall is to maintain a sense of clarity and discernment.
Right.
Recognizing that these manifestations are not inherently good or bad, but simply reflections of your own mind.
Okay, so it's not about getting caught up in the drama or believing everything we see. We need to develop a kind of cosmic detachment,
Right?
the ability to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them.
Exactly. And this skill, this ability to observe the mind without judgment, is incredibly valuable, not just in the Bardo,
Mm-hmm.
but in our everyday lives as well. Think about how often we get caught up in our thoughts, believing every worry, fear, or self-criticism that pops into our heads.
Yeah.
What if instead we could learn to simply observe those thoughts, acknowledge them, and let them pass without giving them too much power?
That's a powerful practice. It's like developing a kind of inner witness, a
Mhm.
calm observer who can just see this parade of thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in the chaos. But I'm curious about the angels in this hall. Do they offer any guidance for navigating this mental landscape?
They do. In the sixth hall, the angel Raphael is a prominent guide,
Okay.
and he's known for his role as a healer and protector. Gold suggests that Raphael can help us navigate the potential confusion and disorientation of this hall,
Right.
offering a sense of clarity and peace amidst those swirling thoughts and emotions.
Raphael, the angel of healing and protection.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I imagine we could all use a bit of that in this hall where we're facing the full spectrum of our own minds.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've confronted our desires, emotions, bodily sensations, karmic patterns, and now our own thoughts. What's left to face in the seventh hall?
Well, the seventh hall is about confronting your habitual patterns of behavior, those ingrained tendency that can keep you stuck in those repetitive cycles.
So it's like facing our autopilot mode,
Yes.
those unconscious reactions and behaviors that we repeat over and over again, even when they don't serve us.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing those patterns, understanding their origins, and ultimately choosing to break free from them.
That sounds like a tall order. How do we even begin to break free from those ingrained patterns,
Yeah.
especially in the Bardo, where we don't have the usual tools and resources of the physical world?
Well, Gold suggests that the key is awareness.
Uh,
By simply observing those patterns without judgment or condemnation, we begin to loosen their grip on us. He also emphasizes the power of intention.
right.
By setting a clear intention to break free from those patterns, we enlist the support of our own soul's wisdom and the guidance of the angels.
So it's like we're rewiring our soul circuitry, consciously choosing new pathways of thought and behavior that are aligned with our highest good.
That's a great way to put it. And this process of rewiring isn't just relevant to the Bardo, it's
Right.
something we can work on in this life as well.
Yeah.
Think about those habits. You want to break those patterns that keep you stuck.
What if you could approach them with a sense of curiosity and compassion, recognizing that they're not inherently bad, but simply patterns that you've outgrown?
Right.
By bringing awareness to those patterns and setting a clear intention to change, you can start to create new, more empowering ways of being.
It's like we're all works in progress, constantly evolving and refining our soul's blueprint.
I love that analogy.
This whole concept of the Bardo is blowing my mind. It's not just about what happens after we die. It's about understanding the nature of reality itself and our own potential for transformation, both in this life and beyond.
You're getting it. And that's the power of Angel's healing journey. It offers a profound and inspiring perspective on life, death, and the interconnectedness of all things. It invites us to step into a larger story, one that extends far beyond the confines of our physical existence, and to recognize that we're all, in a very real sense, eternal beings on an epic journey of evolution.
I feel like we've just scratched the surface of this book.
I agree.
But what a journey it's been. We've explored the 7 halls of the Bardo, confronting our desires, emotions, bodily sensations, karmic patterns, thoughts, and habitual behaviors.
We have.
We've talked about angels as guides and healers, and we've seen how the choices we make in this life have a profound impact on our experiences in the Bardo and beyond.
It's been a fascinating exploration.
It has.
I think one of those valuable takeaways is that the Bardo isn't just some far-off realm that we need to worry about after we die.
Right.
It's a reflection of our own inner landscape, the terrain of our minds and hearts. By understanding the Bardo, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our potential for transformation both in this life and in the next.
Absolutely. It's like Gold is giving us a roadmap for navigating not only the afterlife, but also the inner landscape of our own being.
I agree.
And it's a journey that we can embark on right now in this very moment.
Absolutely. The practices he suggests for navigating the Bardo, cultivating compassion, observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment, setting clear intentions. These are all practices that we can incorporate into our daily lives. And by doing so, we not only prepare ourselves for a smoother transition to the afterlife, but we also enrich our present experience, creating a life that's more meaningful, fulfilling, and aligned with our true nature.
Well, this deep dive into Angel's healing journey has been quite a revelation.
It has.
A huge thank you to all of our listeners for joining us on this exploration of life, death, and the Bardo. We encourage you to pick up a copy of the book and delve into its wisdom for yourselves. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.